Just more broadly, who can benefit from psychoanalysis? That's sort of the first part.
Right.
And then the second part is, do you have to be a particular age to do psychoanalysis?
Okay, bring me back to the second part. I'll start with the first. Who can benefit? Psychoanalysis originated really with the study of neurosis. And so, you know, the ideal patient for psychoanalysis or for psychoanalytic psychotherapy is a neurotic patient. And let me try to explain the spectrum of psychopathology. We're all familiar with the normal distribution, the so-called bell curve, you know. Most people are in the middle. That's where the statistical normal is, in the middle. And then the people at this end are abnormal, and the people who are at this end are abnormal. At the pathological end of abnormality is psychosis. These are people who are seriously mentally ill. They have broken with reality. They are hallucinating. They are delusional. They need to be hospitalized, and so on. As we move away from psychosis and we come up closer, remember the neurotics are in the middle, but to the, say, the left side of neurosis, you've got severe neurosis, which moves into the so-called borderline area. Borderline patients are not psychotic, or if they may have micropsychotic episodes, but they recover from psychosis fairly quickly.
Right.
But they're often described as people who are stably unstable. They have a real hard time forming relationships, keeping jobs. Their lives are disorganized. They live in a black and white world where people for them are either heroes or villains. There's no gray areas, and as a result their lives are very chaotic often, but they're not psychotic, okay? Right. So then we move into the field of neurosis, where most people are, in the middle of the bell curve. And there is severe neurosis, and there is moderate neurosis, and then there's mild neurosis. Now we're moving over to the right side. We're getting, and this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to take people who are ill, and we're trying to move them in the direction of health. And then I'm making the point that at the other end of the bell curve, you have that other form of abnormality called health. It is abnormal to be healthy. Healthy people are abnormal. There aren't that many of them. Most of us are neurotic to some degree or another, but we're trying to help people move towards health. So you asked, well, who's suitable for psychoanalysis? And I'm trying to say, therefore, that probably not psychotic patients, although there are experimental psychoanalysts who usually have hospital appointments, who do work with psychotic people. I'm very interested in that. Frankly, I have worked with a number of psychotic patients, and I find psychoanalysis is often quite useful with psychotic patients. So I don't want to be misunderstood as saying psychoanalysis has no relevance for psychosis. I don't believe that for a moment.
It's just you modify it.
It's a modified form of psychoanalysis, and it can be very, very useful.
Yeah, but what's important is you're still using the psychoanalytic principles.
The treatment is still guided by psychoanalytic principles, and actually I'm impressed with some of the modern work coming out of the Lacanian tradition. Jacques Lacan's the late Lacan, he went through 3 phases, early, middle, and late, but the late Lacan had some very interesting things to say about psychosis. And the Lacanians have some important things to say about working with psychotic patients. But mostly we work with higher level, borderline, and predominantly with neurotic patients. And then you were going to ask about children.
Well, I was asking what, do you have to be a particular age? But yes, can children go into psychoanalysis, children and adolescents?
Yes. Yes, for sure. Certainly adolescents can be in treatment, and certainly children can be in treatment.
And how would that be, or is it the same, or how would it be different than an adult?
You can't ask a 5-year-old to lie on a couch and free associate.
Right.
So you have sand, you have little toys, and the child plays. This is play therapy. And Melanie Klein, Anna Freud, others pioneered in this whole area of play therapy. The therapist is down on the floor with the child and is not guiding the child's play, but is following the child's play and is trying to get the child to talk about the meaning of what they're doing in the play and helping the child make connections between his play. The adult brings a dream, the child brings play.
Right, I think that's a good analogy. It's like they act out a dream in front of you with
Yeah,
the
it used to be
toys.
thought that children can't free associate.
Yeah.
Someone made the point they do nothing but free associate.
Right.
That's called child play. That's constant free associating. And the analyst is helping them understand the meaning and the patterns that emerge in the play. Again, there's a difference between full-scale child analysis. You're trained to be a child analyst, and you see patients at 3-4 times a week, children. There are also child therapists who are psychoanalytic child therapists who are trained to do play therapy with children along psychoanalytic lines. It's a big thing. I mean, here in Toronto, we have both child analysts and psychoanalytic child therapists.
Yeah, I think what's important is, like with adults, I think child psychoanalytic psychotherapists and child psychoanalysts are listening to the unconscious.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think you see a similar kind of array of difficulties: anxiety, sleep problems, sometimes depression, as you would in adults as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.